after press conferences than we normally have. I'm pleased to be here with Senator Carr and with Dr Emerson. We have just concluded a meeting with China's new president, with President Xi. It was a very positive discussion, a substantive discussion, and it has left me with a real sense of confidence, not just about the state of the relationship now, but about how optimistic we can be for the future of the relationship. It was a discussion which underlined really the value and importance of meeting the President so early in his term and being able to talk to him about the relationship between our two countries. I made it clear to the President that I am committed and Australia is committed to building a stronger and more comprehensive relationship with China. He said that he did want to see our relationship taken to a new level. Now, we want to see our relationship strengthened, to be taken to a new level, not just because of the importance of China to Australia bilaterally, but because of the role that China has to play in the stability and prosperity of our neighbourhood and in addressing the critical global challenges we face today, including climate change. I spoke to the President about the need for stronger and more structured high-level dialogue mechanisms in our relationship to provide strategic direction to our bilateral ties, which are obviously growing in scale and complexity, and I will continue that discussion with Premier Li when I reach Beijing, and I look forward to that discussion. We talked about the economic relationship, of course, and I assured the President that Australia would remain a reliable partner in supplying the mineral resources and energy that China needs and which is helping its economy grow. And I also said that Australia welcomed investment from China. I said that a comprehensive free trade agreement would support the further diversification and growth of our economic relationship. I took the opportunity to brief the President about our white paper on Australia in the Asian century and its policy framework for expanding and diversifying the links between our countries and the countries of the region of Asia, not just economic links, but also education links, science, cultural and arts links. We discussed our cooperation on the global stage, particularly in the G20, the UN Security Council, where, of course, we work with China. We spoke about regional security and we spoke about the current concerns arising from the conduct of North Korea. The President indicated that he shared those concerns about current tensions on the Korean Peninsula, that the priority here is to prevent further escalation, and China is urging calm and restraint. We talked very broadly about our cooperation in the region. I did also take the opportunity to note that the President is very familiar with Australia. He's visited every Australian state other than Tasmania. I hope we have the opportunity to rectify that in the future. I did invite the President to come back to Australia and we would make sure, if he's able to visit, that there was a very broad program. Happy to take any questions.
Prime Minister, about any discussion of military or security cooperation, and could you explain to us the importance of it?
We didn't in this discussion talk in what was a broad-ranging discussion over around 45 minutes, but we didn't in this discussion focus on military-to-military links.
Prime Minister, you've talked about how positive and how confident you are about this after this meeting. What benchmarks should we be looking for, specific benchmarks in the future, to know that the relationship is still on track and flowing in the way that you hope?
Well, I think you can take it from the nature of the discussions today that there is a great deal of confidence about the state of the relationship now and optimism for the future. When words are being used about taking the relationship to a new level, I think that that is indicating a spirit of optimism about how we can grow this relationship. And I'm not surprised when you think about our role in this region, China's role in this region, the complementary nature of our two economies, the ever-increasing ties we've got more broadly than economic ties. I think that there is every reason to be very optimistic about the way in which we can build for the future, and certainly that was the sense of the meeting. Mark.
Prime Minister, can you just explain a little bit more about the sort of standing architecture that you were talking about, that you say you're going to talk also with the Premier when you had that meeting, is that on track? Is that likely to be something that comes from your visit now, that there will be this annual talks or annual process that formalises the relationship? Just on North Korea quickly, was there any sense that you got at all that China's position or relationship with North Korea is changed by the events that are occurring at the moment?
Well, I've had to take the second part of the question first, I've had the opportunity, indeed we've all had the opportunity whilst we've been here to talk to a number of people about North Korea, and I'm very clear on China's position about North Korea, which is that they don't want to see conflict on the Korean Peninsula, that they well and truly understand and feel very deeply that that would be an outcome that assisted no one. And in the discussion with the President today, as I indicated, he said China is urging calm and restraint, and he made reference to the six-party talks as a way of trying to work through issues on the Korean Peninsula, and that his aspiration would be to see a denuclearisation of the Korean Peninsula. On the first part of your question, we are continuing discussions about high-level political oversight and management of the strategic direction of our relationship.
Yes. You suggested they're going to raise Tibet.
I did raise human rights with a reference to Tibet. Yes.
Can you tell us what you said about that, though? Was in what context or what he said?
Well, these discussions are best had in private, but as I indicated, we do raise human rights concerns, and I did raise human rights today.
Did you hope to conclude an agreement on the strategic dialogue during this visit, or perhaps in the days after when your ministers leave?
As the Minister for Foreign Affairs indicated on television this morning, we have been working on these issues and discussing these issues for some time. It's early in the life of the new leadership of China. We are pursuing the discussions, including here in China. Yes, Karen.
Prime Minister, did you discuss the progress of the free trade agreement talks with China, and what, if any, undertakings did the President give about bringing that to some kind of conclusion after 8 years?
Both of us indicated that we would like to see a conclusion to the free trade agreement, and we are about to see Dr Emerson working through another round of talks in the free trade agreement. We are aspiring here for a comprehensive high-quality agreement. We have complementary economies, but we both have complex economies with many industries and many interests, so it's not surprising that there are sensitivities on both sides that need to continue to be worked through. But certainly at this level, in this very comprehensive discussion, we did refer to the desire by both Australia and China to conclude the free trade agreement.
Did President Xi bring anything to the table on climate change and carbon abatement schemes? Did he give any indications to you of further engagement he's got, any further policies he's got in that area?
We didn't have a discussion of climate change in that level of detail, no. As you would know from Minister Combet and from remarks that I've made publicly, we obviously have been involved in not only watching what is happening here in China as they move in a number of provinces and indeed in Beijing itself to emissions trading schemes, but there have also been exchanges at a policy level about the way in which carbon pricing can work.
One of the problems that's been cited by the business community has been the artificially low level of the Chinese currency. Did that come up at all today, and did the President give any indications that about floating or freeing it up at all?
No, we did not talk about currency arrangements today. Yes.
Did the President bring anything to the table and ask Australia and you of anything in particular in a broader sense at all?
Well, we worked through the issues that I've indicated to you. So we've talked about the nature of the relationship and our aspirations for the future, whereas I indicated the President used the terminology taking the relationship to a new level. We talked about the nature of the economic links between our two countries, the complementary nature of our economies, how we can continue to grow and diversify trade and investment, and that's where the free trade